What's up, fellas? It's Marlon Wilson. Just wanted to give you a rough run through of what we went through at Solus Christus Bible Study and Book Club and chapter 3 of Voddie Baucham's Family Shepard, which is a great book thus far. It's a really dynamic book. The fellas are really getting a lot out of it, and it's really cool. This week we went through chapter 3, Voddie Baucham's Family Shepard, and in this particular chapter, he used the prototypical family called the Joneses. And this particular family, the husband wasn't necessarily the greatest leader. He was showing lackluster zeal towards his leadership, and he thought he was doing the right thing by just taking his family to church every Sunday and participating in family programs and things of that nature. But in the real essence of things, he was not evangelizing and discipling his family. So therefore, the heart of his family, the core of his family, was dysfunctional to say the least, and it was not a true Christ-centered, functioning family. And thus it created rifts and it created divisiveness. It created different situations that were not good. Another issue was that both parents in the home were parents who worked 8-hour days, so essentially there was really nobody there for the children. They worked all day long, and once they got home, there really wasn't any time for discipleship or evangelism or anything of that nature. No Christ-centered leading of the husband, by the husband part of his family. And so it just created a real bad situation. So he used that analogy or that family to portray the idea of certain Christian families that he's dealt with in the past, and how as a family, as a man, and the lead shepherd of a family, we have to be able to put things to the side and understand what's most important. Even work, even those aspects has to be put to the side at times in order to ensure that we concentrate on what's important. And most important is not sports. It's not just simple time, spending time with your family. It's actually evangelizing and discipling your family from a Christian perspective, a Christian worldview. If you call yourself a Christian, those should be the number one things that you're doing. And you call yourself a believer, those are the things that you should be feeding in and really investing in your children and your wife. And you should be doing those things. Also, he talked about a great tool that should be implemented. It's called a catechism. If you're not familiar with a catechism is essentially a Q&A, and it's almost essentially a brochure which ask questions. For example, it asks, what is a Trinity? And it gives an answer to that question. And in this particular catechism he's talking about was more in line for children. And it's a great tool. He has it laid out in his book, and it's an outstanding tool to just go through the fundamental aspects of the core tenets or the core theological concepts of the Christian faith. If you are having a hard time explaining those things, one thing that really stood out to me was the fact that men, we have a hard time of really just putting things to the side, and really focusing on our family and focusing on the things that we need to focus on. We get so distracted with other entities, other things, that we tend to forget our families. We tend to forget and put them on the wayside. While we might provide for them financially, but the spiritually is being neglected. And I just want to go to you. Just wanted to talk to you guys and make sure that you guys are investing in your family's spiritual life and discipling it and encouraging them in evangelism, Lord. And I think it's very important that you guys just really focus on what's important. In today's world, we see a lot of different aspects that are directly attributed negatively because of the lack of the family, the lack of the father that's there. So it's important that you guys really focus up, really get in tune of what's going on, and put that family first. Focus on your family. We're so worried about politics. We're so worried about everything else, but we're not focusing on our family. We're not focusing on those things. So in the grand scheme of things, we can be focused on many other things, but if we don't focus on our family, then things are going to fail. As I said in my last video, family is the core. It's always been the core. And if family is neglected, then everything else collapses. So let's not take that for granted. Let's take that serious. And I'm not talking about support, oh, because you support your family financially, oh, you're a good father. No, you still could be a very poor father because you're neglecting other aspects, which is spiritually. You're neglecting those things. And if you neglect spiritually, everything else fails. I'm sorry, it just does. So, yeah, so make sure you're doing that. With that being said, I'm about to get off here, but I really wanted to read Joel. Let me get to it real quick. I really want to read Joel chapter 2, verse 25, and it says, "Then I will make up to you for the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the creeping locust, the stripping locust, and the gnawing locust, my great army which I sent among you." So God is able to redeem that time. You know, if you're a father and you feel that you haven't been doing everything you need to do to feed your children and feed your wife, evangelize to them and disciple them, you know, then let's make it happen today. You know, ask the Lord for forgiveness, repent of that sin, and start evangelizing and start discipling your children, your wife, and leading them as a man should. Everything is upon the shoulders of the family. And if the man is not there, the family will collapse because you are called to be the leader of your family. That's all I have for you. Hope you have a good day. God bless.